Hey, what's up? It's me, Fresh Creations. Today I'm going to show you how to make Powerpuff Girl ice creams. Also, make sure that you download that free template for all the subscribers. Let's go ahead and get started. First up is bubbles. For this tutorial, you will need polymer clay. You are not able to do this with air dry clay because I have not figured out a way to make the crunchy outer layer. So what you're going to do is take some translucent and dough colored clay and mix them together until you get a color like this. And then you're going to smash it down into a 1-inch thick circle. Don't worry if it's not a complete circle. We're going to take our templates here that I have made for you, and you're going to place it right on the top, and then we're just going to cut it out. I've also cut off the top of her hair, that way that I can attach her hair later in a different color. This is going to help to make sure that your popsicle comes out exactly the way that mine did. Go ahead and use your fingers and go ahead and clean it up a little bit. Then we're just going to go in with the yellow. You want it to be 1 inch thick, just like you did the face part. And you're going to cut these out individually. And then I'm just going to take that template and I'm going to keep it on the paper and I'm going to shape it out. And then I'm going to repeat that process one more time on the other side. I'm also going to do that with her pigtail, and I'm going to have this one the same thing, 1 inch thick, and I want to use the side that had the template on it so it is a flat surface. And I'm also going to repeat that for the other side, and then I'm just going to take some cornstarch baby powder, and I'm going to start smoothing out all of the air bubbles and making sure that everything is stuck together and smooth. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab that template again, and I'm going to place it over a blue color, also 1 inch thick. And I'm going to shape it down and cut around it until I get the exact shape. Then I'm just going to cut each one of the stripes individually, and then I'm just going to lay it right on that clay, and I'm going to snip around it. You can also use your fingers if it does become deformed. And then I'm going to do a black one right in the center. That'll be the center color, and then I'm going to stick them together. Then you're going to start cutting out the eye, and to do this, you're going to measure it down just to make sure it fits. I'm just going to lay it right on the hairline and then start using a bowl tip tool to trace around it. You're going to do both eyes by flipping the template. I'm also going to take the mouthpiece here and I'm just going to lay it down just to kind of get a little bit of a reference where I want to put the mouth. Now I did go ahead and decide not to do a mouth. You can put a mouth if you want to, but since it was a popsicle, I didn't really use the mouth. Then I'm just going to start attaching her body now. And I'm going to add her arms. To make her arms, I'm going to make a cylinder shape. And then I'm just going to bend over just the edge at the end. And I'm going to place it on, and you want to make sure that is 1 inch thick. And I'm going to repeat that same process with the other side. Now here's something that is a very important thing. A lot of people have been asking me how I make my glazes. And I'm going to start doing this in each video for my Fakebake beginners as well. I've just taken some oven baked clay adhesive, or you can use liquid polymer clay, and I'm going to mix in some skin tone. And you're going to mix it in until you get a glaze consistency. This same technique works with other colors as well, such as the blonde we'll be using for her hair. And I'm also going to show you how to make it just even a little bit thinner, and that's going to be for the eyes. So what you're going to do is just take some soft pastels. A lot of people have been asking me what I use to color my polymer clay. So you're going to use some soft pastels. They're just like chalk. And you're just going to take some of that oven baked clay adhesive and then add some of that chalk pastel or the soft pastel. So you're just going to shave off a little bit, and then you're going to start mixing in that liquid polymer clay and slowly adding more until you get a nice glaze consistency. You want it really thin, and you want to make sure that it's completely black. Now you're going to take that yellow glaze that I showed you how to make the first time with the liquid polymer clay and the polymer clay, or your oven baked clay adhesive and polymer clay, mixed together. And you're going to start adding this all over the sides and the front of her hair. I went ahead and did the back part first off of camera just so it is less time. You can do the back however you want it. I just did these like little swirl patterns, and I ended up going really slowly over it just to make sure that it stays attached. This just really helped it so it wouldn't break while I was trying to move it, and adding layers while it was baking. So what you're going to do is just completely add this all over the place. Again, I'm just using a little swirl motion, and then I'm going to make it kind of like little lines to imitate her hair, just like this. I did this on the sides and the front. And this is what it looks like after it is baked. Now I'm going to take that same color that we made, this is the skin tone glaze, and I'm going to start putting this all over the sides of her face and the front. Make sure that you follow that lines that we made for the eyes and don't go over the lines. Now I'm going to go ahead and bake it one more time, and after it is baked and cooled, I'm going to start adding the eye pupil. And we're going to use that black that we made. And then I'm going to go in with a small tool here, and I'm going to use a ball tip tool for this. This is a very small pointed one, and I'm just going to slowly go all the way to the edge of the pupil. And then after that's complete, you're going to do that same thing with the other side on the other pupil. Now that we've done both pupils, you're going to put this in the oven and bake it. So now you're going to take some oven bake clay adhesive, and you're going to take your soft pastel in a blue color, and you're going to mix this in until you get a very nice thin consistency. And we're going to take our ball tip tool, kind of like a pen here, and we're going to start slowly layering this on. Now you're going to see me have the picture over here as a reference. You can just cut out the template, each piece if you want to for the eyes, but I just wanted to freehand this. You do not have to do that. Continue doing that template like we did before to make sure that it is perfect. Just cut out each piece each time and trace over. And here it is completely done and ready to bake. Now that we've baked it one more time, we're going to go ahead and add that highlight to the pupils, and it's just a little white spot. And she's done and ready to bake. Moving on to Blossom Powerpuff Girl, we're going to start cutting around and making our face. You're not going to cut this part off this time because we are just going to put the hair over the top. So you're going to just take that hair piece template and start cutting out an orange piece, just like she would have for her hair. And then I'm going to take some oven bake clay adhesive, and I'm just going to attach this on, and then take my tool here and add lines back and forth to mimic hairlines. Then I'm going to cut out the eye like we did for the first one, and then I'm going to flip it over and cut out the other side as well. Remember, for each one of these Powerpuff Girls, everything that you make, including their accessories, needs to be 1 inch thick. So we're going to do that same thing that we did on the first one, and we're going to start cutting out the template for her bow, and we're going to start individualizing these little pieces here and putting them together on the top of her hair. When you're assembling these, make sure that you use a little bit of oven bake clay adhesive just to attach them, since we did add some of that baby powder on top. Then we're going to repeat that same process that I showed you how to make with that template for her shirt. And you're also going to make her arms the exact same way, making 2 cylinders, flattening down the edges, and sticking them together like this. If you need a little bit more info on how to make the shirt, or you missed the first part of the video for bubbles, make sure you head back that way, and I showed you step by step how to make the shirt and cut out this template. I also cut out 2 small triangles here, and that's not in the template. This is just a little extra thing. I do end up removing them later, but I did want to add this if you'd like them. Just 2 small triangles at the edge of her hair. Then I also took some of that liquid polymer clay, or that oven bake clay adhesive, and I mixed a pink polymer clay in it until I got a glaze-like consistency. And then I went ahead and started layering it all over her bow. This is going to be in a really cute swirl pattern, and this will just kind of add a cute little aesthetic. And then I'm also going to be using some orange glaze. If you missed on how to make that glaze, make sure you head back to the beginning of the video, and I did show you how to make these glazes. Now for her hair, I'm just going to start making little small lines like this with the tool. And then I'm going to do that on both sides as well, and all over the front. And then I'm going to take some oven bake clay adhesive, and I'm going to add some of my skin tone clay, and I'm going to mix that in until I get a glaze. And then I'm going to just apply it right to the front of the face. Now I went ahead and used bubbles here because for some reason my camera was not recording when I was trying to record for Blossom's face. Now we're going to start adding the pink layer for our irises. Again, if you've missed this part of the video, make sure that you check out the beginning, and I do show you how to make this glaze. Head back over to bubbles. And I'm just going to freehand this, but if you need to use the template, go ahead and just cut it out one by one and layer it on. And once that's complete, you can go ahead and bake it, and then we're going to make that white spot in her iris, and she's complete. Moving on to my favorite Powerpuff Girl, Buttercup. You're going to cut out the template of her face. I did that off camera. I showed you how to do that in the other two Powerpuff Girls, so make sure you check that out. We're also going to cut her hair, and we're going to cut this in 2 parts. So I'm going to lay out some clay, and I'm going to cut this out and place it over the top. Make sure that you check your template each time to make sure it fits over the face. Then we're just going to take the sides of the hair and bend them down, also adding some oven baked clay adhesive underneath to make sure it attaches very nicely. Again, just like we did with Blossom, we're going to take our ball tip tool and we're going to start adding lines back and forth, and we're going to be making her some hair. And then I'm going to take the eye and cut out that template, and I'm going to trace them out just like I did with Bubbles and Blossom. Just a small tip, when you're making the sides of the hair, kind of make it look like you're making a dragon claw. And you're going to want to make 2 shapes just like a dragon claw and set them on the sides. Then I'm just going to take my ball tip tool, and I've also taken some oven baked clay adhesive and I've attached them with that. It probably would stick, but I really wanted to make sure it sticks and doesn't fall apart. As you can see, it is still moving a little bit, even with the oven baked clay adhesive. Now after you put all the lines for the hair, you're going to start making the t-shirt again. And for this one, we're going to just place that template over the top, and we're going to start cutting out all the way around the template here. You also want to smooth this out with your fingers and curve the top where the neck will go. And then you're going to take your tool and just cut it out on the sides. Now you can use the scissors like I showed you how to do the first time, but I just wanted to do this quickly here. So what I've done is taken it and placed it in the center. And then I'm going to start smashing this down, and then I'm going to put it back on the template and cut it out and make it more perfect. Now to add our popsicle stick, we're just going to make a small hole with a ball tip tool. This is just a plastic one that I've had, and I'm going to make sure that it goes all the way through, going through the top part first, making sure I don't smash it, and then I'm going to go through the bottom part. Now we can go ahead and slide in our popsicle stick very easy, just like this. Then for our arms, we're going to take those 2 cylinders like we did in the first part of the video. If you want a little bit more in depth to how to make these, stay tuned and I'm going to show you here real quick. So you're just going to take a long cylinder tube like this, but you want it to have kind of like a flat bit to it. And then you're going to just curve over the top, just like that. And then you're going to go ahead and push them on. Now we can go ahead and hold her head tightly and push this inside just like this. You can also add some oven baked clay adhesive just to make sure that the neck does not come apart. I'm also going to take some of this black color. Now for some reason before it is off camera, it does not look black, but it is black. So you want to make sure that you use a black glaze and make this with that oven baked clay adhesive and a black clay. And we're going to go over the whole thing and mimic the lines that we made before with our tool here. You're kind of making this look like frosting or kind of like a frozen dilly bar. Now we're going to take that glaze in the skin tone and we're going to start adding that all over the place where every part that's not her eyes. So make sure that you don't get it in the eye part because we will be filling those in later, and you're going to cover all the way around the edges as well. Now I went ahead and did the pupils off camera since I've shown you twice how to do them. If you've missed that, please go forward and check the beginning of the video where I show you step by step how to do the pupil as well as how to make the glaze for the pupil. Then I just went ahead and took my ball tip tool and I'm slowly going to trace around the edge here, making these lines for the eyes. Again, if this is hard for you to do free-handed, feel free to add the template. It works much easier with the template and you can trace it out before, just like we did with the first part of the eyes. After adding this green part, you're going to bake it and you're going to add a white layer. This will be for the white parts of the eyes. I will show you how to do that here. So you just add that white layer on the outer layer like I did here, and then you're also going to add that white pupil right in the center. And this will just give her kind of like a glow to her eye. Now now that she's completed, we can go ahead and bake her one last time. That's it, guys. They are absolutely completed. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial, and if you missed any parts or have any questions, make sure that you check back through the other parts of our video, because I really did try to make sure that this was more in-depth for all of my new fake and bake beginners. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!